And this will be just a short update of the pond or the wildlife area with its dip pools. I've done a little bit more today, and although it's Christmas Eve, it doesn't stop me getting out in the garden. It's a real pleasant day today, as you can see, so it's well worth coming out here. So I've been at this since 9 o'clock this morning. It's only took me about an hour and a half to do this, but what I've done since we last spoke, or since I last uploaded the other video, was I've put in the membrane. So I've carried on, and underneath there, as you can see, there is an well, I guess that's an underlay in it as such. Now there's a lot of titivating to do here. As you can see, that underlay's dropped back, but we'll soon sort that out. There's the underlay there, the bit on the right. Where's my finger? There, that's the underlay there. And then to the left of that, that's the liner itself. Now, I've paid extra money for this liner, and to be quite honest, I'm not that happy with it. I should have gone the whole log and got butyl liner, but I read a lot of reports about this stuff, and it said it's really good. So we shall hang fire with that, not overly judge it. But as you can hear, that's quite plasticky, but it is a good thick plastic, having said that, so it should be okay. Now what I did before I started, as you saw on yesterday's video, was I put carpet down, and I had a little more of a roll left in the garage. So what I did was I got that, and it was a bit neater, so I redid part of it, and I can't show you that now because I've got to this stage, but that's what I did. I recut it, and it looked quite nice. Although you're never going to see it, as you can see now. You're never going to see that, so it would have made no difference whatsoever. It made me feel better. So, let's just show you. Right, so what we've done is we've put those two down. We've folded it, or folded the plastic as best we can, because it is a bit of a slow process, this. This will take me some time. I'm a million miles from where I want to be at the moment with doing all the fancy stuff, but this is the stage I've got to. Now, here's the pools, here's the dip pools that you can't really make out at the minute. Now, you may have thought that these were quite deep when I did them. Let me just adjust the camera so you can't see. I wish the sun was hitting it, because you'd have been able to see the shadow. But there, you can almost make out that area there. That's one of the pools. And then we have another one here. We have another one there, but it's not obvious now, but it is there, and when the water goes in, that will be more obvious. And basically what I've done is I've dug down, I've put the gravel in, as you can see. Now, one of the problems with this gravel is it contains some sharper bits, which it shouldn't have this in it, but it has. It's got this type of stuff in it, flint. I'm not happy with that, because that's what's going to pierce my lining. If anything's going to pierce it, it's going to be that. But luckily, I've got lots of underlay underneath it, so it should be more of a cushion than anything. My only worry is when it gets hot in the summer and this lining will heat up, that it'll be easier for the flint type stones to actually cut into it. And that is a big worry at the moment. Should that happen in the wrong place, then I'm like in the pools themselves, that one there. Should it happen in there, then it's going to completely empty. Whereas if it happens around the edge, it's not going to be such a problem, because that's only having a little bit of water in it anyway, because the water will come up to that point. If we have a major disaster and I can't find the leak, it's easy to resolve. You've either got to take out all the stone and just look for it and find it, or you turn it into a bog garden. That's the simple fix for it. You just put soil into there. So if you ever have this problem and you've got a pond that's already doing this, throw loads and loads of soil in there and turn it into a bog garden. It'll look just as good as a bog garden. I'm wanting this for the wildlife to drop into. I've got hedgehogs, I do believe, scooting around here. I am going to get a wildlife camera positioned onto here so I can see what's happening once it does fill up properly. I may not fill it up today. I may fill it up. I may get the excitement may take over and I may fill it. But for now, I've got lots of work around the edges to do, so I don't really want to be filling it because I am restricted on space. My own fault, because I got excited and started planting up, and I said I shouldn't do at the time, but I did. But I've lots of work to do on it. Now, what I'm going to be doing next is I'm going to be, to a degree, cutting back some of that material. Now, what you must do, although at the moment you can see there's plenty of overlap on this, I've got plenty of overlap, way too much, but what I'm going to do is probably come to this line here and I'm going to cut around it. That's going to give me at least a foot of overlay that I don't need at the moment, but it will tidy up. It will tidy up the plastic itself, or the pond liner. It'll tidy that up. As you can see, there's way too much there, and that's deliberate. I bought a way bigger piece than I needed because I didn't want any mistakes once the pond was dug. So I went for the size bigger than I needed, and as you can see, it is way too much. I will cut that down. That will come in handy for something else. I don't know what, but it'll line something out. It'll line something like a wooden planter out, you know, line your planters out with something like that. It stops it rotting as quick. So I think you can, yes, you can now make out the dips, one there, and if you remember, there was a dustbin lid in here. Now we've got a little change on that, and it'll all become apparent on the next video. I'm not going to show you too much or tell you too much because this is like my creativity coming in now, and things may change. I may tell you that, what I'm going to do, and I may not do it. I may change it completely by the time I've come to it, because that's what I do. Now, the reason, well, just to explain this, the reason why that bigger dip pull is the way it is because you can't see it now, where that plastic is there, there's a rheum palmatum that's going to grow over there, and it's going to partly cover the water itself. And that was in the plan. That was planned when I dug it. I knew that was going to happen. It was only small, fairly smallish, the rheum palmatum when I dug that, but the rheum palmatum year on year will get bigger and bigger. That itself may have to be controlled so it doesn't cover it completely, because rheums can get quite big in the leaf, and it could end up covering more than I'd intended. So at this point, I'm not going to worry too much about the gravel being perfect. I've got the dips where I want them. They will flood. They will have plenty of water in them. All around the edge, there'll be water in there. You may not at first see it, but it'll be in there. The birds will find it. The wildlife will get in there. There's only two little shallow pools. I'm not building a pond, remember. This is not a pond. This is more of a wildlife drinking hole, I guess you could call it. With those little, and that's why I've put the little dip pools in. So if any frogs do want to jump in, then they can. There's going to be a little bit for them to do that. One thing I've got to be mindful of as the time passes by is that those holes the gravel will drop into those holes and start gradually filling it up. I will deal with that. I will sort that out, and I've got to be mindful of where they are. I'll remember where they are, and I may from time to time have to scoop some of that gravel out, and that should be okay. That should deal with that. So that's as far as we've got at the moment, and I think it's looking pretty good. It's looking where I want it to look. Then my next job, once I stop filming this, is I shall trim up some of that excess pond liner, and the underlay bit, I shall trim that back just to neaten it up. And I don't think after this video I will be videoing until another 2 or 3 days time, when hopefully I would have got some of those little bits of surprises that I'm going to show you done. Okay, talk to you later. Ta-da.